and despairing, light a candle so revealing, ardent prayers for hope and healing. Can we know this part? Oh, light a path to lasting peace, here where the greatest and the least can light a candle and keep it glowing. See the rain of love is growing. Light a path for every nation. It's time for reconciliation. Come light a candle. Light the way to peace. You have heard it before. I have done this. Thank you, Remembrance Day, but I didn't teach it, did I? I don't think so. Y'all are just so quick. Thank you so much for your singing and learning and willingness.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome, guests, members, friends, and visitors to the home of the Calgary Unitarians. Today, we, the Calgary Unitarians, formally install Reverend Samaya Oakley as the settled minister of the Unitarian Church of Calgary.
Woohoo!
In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, an installation service celebrates the covenantal relationship between a minister and the congregation who has called her. It is a celebration of our joy at having found one another and of our agreement to enter into a covenant of shared ministry. Did you know that Reverend Samaya and the Calgary Unitarians had a prior relationship? Ooh. We were fortunate to have her with us during her internship, which was supervised by our minister at the time, Reverend Deborah Falk. I had the privilege of being a member of her internship committee. And I never dreamed at that time that I would be welcoming you all to her installation service some 12 years later. Today, let us imagine what we can become together as minister and congregation, co-creating beloved community as we look towards our future.
The words for this morning's processional hymn are in your printed inserts, Building a New Way, hymn number 1017. So I invite you to stand in body and or in spirit and let the processional begin. We are building a new way. We are building We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these our world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
I invite Reverend Tony Snow, Indigenous Minister of the United Church of Canada, to give the land acknowledgement.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to offer a couple of words here as we begin. I'm very honored to be here. My name is Reverend Tony Snow. I come from the Stoney Nakoda First Nation, west of Calgary, part of Treaty Number 7. I'm a descendant of the signers of Treaty Number 7 and a Indigenous minister in the United Church of Canada, overseeing the various United Churches in southern Alberta. And this work has evolved over time to include support for our neighbors, our support for our communities of faith through the Calgary Interfaith Council, and an understanding of how we are built in this relationship for better futures by working together. As we come together here for an acknowledgement of the land, we begin with a story of creation. We begin with a story of belonging to the land and belonging to our Creator. However, we see that version of life within us. This path of knowing is the beginning of a shared knowledge and heritage for all who come after and who benefit from this relationship. We understand the connection to creation with and from our Creator. We believe we are called into this land by one who enlightens and inspires us to make communion with others in divine relationship with other beings blessed to share this creation, whether animate or inanimate. For my people, we call our Creator Wakataka, great mystery. It is our perception of how we view our place in relation to the world. And for all others joining us here, they recognize how their essence fits in the schema of the story of this land. Whether you are bound by a Creator-centered belief or not, you are welcomed here by others who have made this connection and speak to it as the basis of our belonging. And by our actions and intentions, we bless the land with purposefulness and stewardship. We understand Wakataka as Great Spirit, holy divine mystery, that which connects us all. And so we are not so different in our understandings of traditions. We remain children of creation, with our own stories and experiences of how we see as sacred this world around us, and the holy relationships that connect us to our forebears and ancestors, and that which will connect us to our future, the descendants and progenitors of new understandings and new beginnings. We institute this time at Advent, which is a time of great trial, a time of world-ending visions, of apocalypses, and that, in its tradition of Advent stories, is a way of moving forward into a blessing and a brighter future through the gifts of our knowledge, the gifts of our being. And it is in that spirit that I'm glad for the ministry and call of Reverend Samaya Oakley. I have seen her efforts to connect to community, to participate and join in where others haven't. And in this spirit of partnership that assures me that the work of the Unitarian Church remains as strong as it has been under Reverend Brenda Falk. And so we light a smudge in the cleansing and purification. We light a smudge for honoring and blessing. We might light a smudge in times of trial and worry. We light a smudge for honoring and for veneration. We give thanks to the great mystery that has brought us together. Let's pray. Adema kochigerim, naga ambane, inegi babich. Wahena penjagya, nagene inegi pabich, singina. Anoki ne chagya inegi pabich, singina. Yaistya chagya, nagene inegi pabich, singina. Wahyamba chadn chagya, nagenish, wichasta tangacha, nagene inengi pabich o singinap. Makoya debi inengi pabich o singinap. Ade ina makoche inengi pabich o singinap. Ade makoche geran inengi pabich singinap. We offer this blessing to our Reverend Samaya to come and smudge. Going to sing a song that will help us to enter into and center us in the thanksgiving of this time. O kishti hey na ji kelo, hey ha yo hey, hey ha yo hey yo, io la tia, a ho ta ho she la, re ko ka ti ta cha, e ka mu i e lo, hey ha yo hey, hey ha yo hey yo. Mishnish, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Ann Barker. I serve the Canadian Unitarian Council in the congregational life realm. I serve the Western and BC regions and the congregation of Hamilton. But today I represent the country. What a good representation. Thank you. And the minister says, amen. Amen. So I bring greetings from the CUC, but rather than that be an amorphous thing, I want us to just do a little visualization together. So I want you to imagine first Calgary, that's easy, as a point of light on the Canadian Unitarian map. And then I want you to imagine the other points of light that you know of in Alberta on the Canadian Unitarian map. And then we're going to spread out with BC and then all the way to the coast. And first, we imagine these points of light that are communities and congregations. And then we expand to recognize that there are also individuals and there are visions growing for how we are an interdependent web, how we love and care for and hold one another, and we are all connected. So my greetings from the Canadian Unitarian Council represents the organization, it represents the member congregations, but it really brings the recognition of the admiration that we have for the work of this congregation, the many ways you've proven yourself to be leaders in our national ways of being, for the work of the Reverend Samaya Oakley, for the many ways you are and have been a leader in local and national being, and together how we see you as a mighty force for the future. May your light grow. May it continue to kindle and spark ideas and visions and feed the lights around you. And also, may you remember that all those lights are there to feed you as well. Blessings on your shared ministry.
Good morning from Halifax, Nova Scotia. My name is Ben Robbins, and I serve with Reverend Samaya as co-presidents of the UU Ministers of Canada. I bring greetings and best wishes from UMOC. Samaya and the Calgary Unitarians, congratulations on this wonderful deepening of your relationship. I had a look at your congregational website at the history of the Calgary congregation, and I was not in the least surprised to discover that one of your first ministers spoke boldly on the issues of the day, at first locally, and then helping to lead a transformative political and economic movement in Canada that prioritized cooperation and inclusion. So the tradition of putting love into action continues through your history. Samaya, you are a visionary, and you're also comfortable in the details and nuances of making that vision into a reality. You are a bold speaker, and you also amplify voices from the margins and help others speak themselves into being. Our living tradition of thoughtful, courageous, compassionate ministers is glad to have you alongside us and in the lead. So blessings to you all on this day, and lots of love from all the UU Ministers of Canada, from coast to coast to coast.
May our time together this morning be a blessing of comfort and or a blessed call to action. Let this be a place that we consider things that we have never considered before. Let this be a place that we imagine for ourselves something new and unthinkable. May this hour bring dreams of new ways of our being in the world. Come, let's worship together.
Our opening song is Keep On Moving Forward. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit, and join your voices, your breath, and your spirits with mine. You might want to loosen your hips a bit too. Gotta keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gotta keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never moving proudly. Never turning back. Gotta keep on singing loudly. Gotta keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Loving boldly. Gotta keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gotta keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Thank you.
We light this chalice with open hearts and with resolve, not to mention humor. We light this chalice with reverence for this place, for this community, for this time. We light this chalice with our souls longing to be true to who we are and to who we wish to become. We light this chalice in holy love. In the 4 Sundays before Christmas, it's common practice to light the candles of an Advent wreath, symbolizing hope, peace, joy, and love. The 4-week period honors that which is to come, the coming of Jesus, of holiday celebrations, of longer, warmer days. As this season of sparkle and bright unfolds before us, the glimmering promises of hope lie like box jewels awaiting and adorning light. May we hold fast to hope's patient possibilities. May we lift them high that they might catch the light of our dreams and shine bright in our broken world. And may we instill hope's challenge in the hearts of our children, that they too will live it into meaning, pouring their lives as we do ours into making it real for themselves, for each other, for the world. May hope light the world this Christmas.
Every week, as we light the Advent candle, we're going to sing this song, Light a Candle, that many of you are here to learn this morning. For those of you that weren't, that's okay. You'll pick it up. And thank you. You'll notice typos in the words in your insert. That's okay. Those will be fixed next week. But the words, it's 100% on me.
Light a candle in the darkness, through the days of warring madness. Light a candle, keep it burning, shine a path for peace and learning. Light a candle warm with caring, for the fearful and despairing. Light a candle, so revealing ardent prayers for hope and healing. Oh, light a path to lasting peace, here where the greatest and the least can light a candle and keep it glowing. See the rain of love is growing. Light a path to every nation. It's time for reconciliation. Come light a candle. Light the way to peace.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nicola. Sheila.
You know, sometimes I get so excited to get up here, and my mind's like, okay, go up after the song. Oh wait, second song. So I'm so happy to be back. Some of you may not know I've been away ill for the last couple of weeks, but I had to be back for Samaya's installation. And so I'm so glad to be here. I'm Sheila McMaster, Director of Religious Education, and my pronouns are she and her. And today I've been asked to imagine what do we want our congregation, the children and youth program to be like in 10 or 15 years when our wonderful Reverend Samaya might be ready to retire. What is our legacy? Or not retire. Forever. She'll be here forever. And so I have a story for all of you. And before you get too excited, it's just an excerpt. I just have 5 minutes today because we're busy today on this wonderful celebratory day. And yet, to me, it is the essence of what it is to be Unitarian Universalist. All of us are different, and all of us are a little weird. And yet
Amen.
We have good hearts, right? Like that's the people who belong here, the people who don't fit in elsewhere, and we're all a bit strange and well-meaning. And that includes me. And, as we make this journey into the next decade, my hope is for us to take the time to understand each other's unique differences so that we can all feel included. And so the following story is an excerpt from a story called Included by Janie Sanders. And it's a story that shares the experience of 6 different kids. And here at the Calgary Unitarians, many of our kids are neurodiverse, including the Director of Religious Education. And so I want to focus on the story of one girl named Rishi, who's autistic. And the story goes, everyone everywhere wants to be included. Everyone everywhere wants to belong. And our world is made up of all kinds of people. Some have brown hair, and some people have red hair. Some have light skin, some people have dark skin. Some are shorter, and some are taller, and people's bodies look and work differently. And people's brains work differently too. And everyone is different, and that's okay. What's important is that everyone feels included. Kids are just kids everywhere. And just like you, they love playing games and books and making stuff and being silly, and they have things they're good at and things they're working on. And think about all the people in your community. They will have different abilities, and every person will have a story. Be curious. Ask questions. Find out more. And take your understanding and empathy out into your community and make it a kinder and more inclusive place. This is Rishi. Rishi is autistic. This means someone who sometimes sees and understands the world in a different way. And it might mean Rishi looks away when asked a question, and she might do things over and over again, or sometimes a smell or a sound might really upset her, or might make her really interested. Each autistic person has their own way of seeing things and understanding the world, just like you. Rishi loves to paint, and she often paints pictures of red and green and yellow. And Rishi knows everything about dinosaurs and volcanoes, but her favorite thing to do is sit by the ocean and watch the waves come in and out. Rishi doesn't always like to be touched, and that's okay. She can choose when she allows a person to come into her body boundary for a hug or a handshake, just like you. And we all need to ask each other for consent before moving inside another person's body boundary. Hey, Rishi, do you want a hug? No, thanks. How about a high five? Yeah, okay. And sometimes Rishi loves to play with the other kids, and she loves to be included. But sometimes she might choose not to join in, and that's okay too. We all need to respect each other's choices. And even though Rishi doesn't want to play, it's still important to ask her. That way she knows she can be included when she's ready. Hey, Rishi, do you want to play? No, not today. Okay, no problem. Hey, Rishi, do you want to play? Yeah, today's the day. And so this is my dream for the Calgary Unitarians, understanding each other on a deeper level and helping each other feel truly included. Ford's Church says Unitarian Universalists are neither a chosen people nor a people whose choices are made for them by theological authorities, ancient or otherwise. We are a people who choose. And as I imagine our Calgary Unitarian congregation 10 or 15 or 30 years into the future, I choose deeper inclusion by understanding and love. And so please join me now as we sing the light of our flame downstairs.
Our December song for sharing the light is Look to the Sky, and the words can be found in your insert. People around me, eyes to the ground. Oh, why can't they look to the sky, the sky? They can't even see me or like what they do see. Why can't they look to the sky? To me, their world is a tiny place. I can raise my eyes and fly through space. Are there more like me? Can't they see what I see? Why don't they look to the stars? Oh, this old world is a tiny place. I can raise my eyes and fly through space. There are more like me, and they see what I see. We all can look to the stars.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Reverend Rosemary Morrison, she, her pronouns, and I'm the minister at the Unitarian Church of Edmonton, just a little bit north of here. I am here for the call to the offering, but first I want to share a small story about Reverend Samaya. We were in a hotel in North Vancouver at a fall conference. And as I have done for probably 20 years, asked any Unitarian minister who came across my path, well, what is it like to go to Vancouver School of Theology? And finally, I got the right answer from Samaya, and so I went, and here I am, stolen everything. But what Samaya said, Reverend Samaya said to me, was that there was help along the way. And that's something that I didn't realize. And some of that help was through work studies at Vancouver School of Theology, but it was also through bursaries that you and one from installations and ordinations that go to the Canadian Unitarian Council, to the Percy Bailey Theological Fund. And that helped me personally tremendously. And I know that there are others in this room that fund helped tremendously. You know, we couldn't have done it without that. We could not be serving you without that fund available to us. And it has expanded now in a beautiful way, so that if ministers wish to go back to school, we can also access that if we wish to get a doctorate of ministry or something that might help our congregations and help us. And it's also, to me, this is an absolutely beautiful, wonderful thing. It can help a congregation like you or like Edmonton or like anyone, any congregation in Canada, support an intern. We need our ministers up and coming to have places to study and learn. And the Percy Bailey Theological Fund can help this congregation or the Unitarian Church of Edmonton or any other congregation in Canada fund that internship. So yeah, I'm looking for people to be digging in their pockets. The collection plate is coming along. But however, the second thing I want to draw to your attention is that Reverend Samaya also has amazing vision, and she notices the margins, and she notices the people that are being harmed here in Alberta, and some of those people are trans, non-binary, youth and young adults, and people of all stripes. And the Stepping Stones project here in Calgary, I was looking on their website. They just do such amazing work helping people. They say they create a circle around them to help them, whatever they need. They create the program around the trans person. They've helped over 10,000 trans people in the last 6 years since their inception. I ask you now to think about these things and to give generously. Your money will be divided in half between Stepping Stone, who desperately needs our help in this political climate. You know what I'm talking about. I live in Alberta too. And the Percy Bailey Theological Fund. We will take the offering now. Thank you.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Mute the AV. I am the Reverend Cheryl M. Walker. And first, I want to say thank you to the good people of Calgary Unitarians, and especially to my dear friend, Reverend Samaya Oakley, for inviting me to share in this wonderful day. I'm joining you from Philadelphia, and I am really grateful for the technology that allowed me to not have to travel on the busiest travel weekend in the United States. Though it would be better if I could have just been transported to you so that I could be in person to feel the joy in the room. And I know there is great joy this morning because it is indeed a joyful occasion. The installation of Reverend Samaya as your minister and the formalization of a sacred bond between you and her. It is a bond that began years ago when she was your intern minister. And it was renewed when she returned as your settled minister. Today is the formalization of what has been and what is yet to be. So I think it's appropriate that it's also the first day of Advent. No, not because Reverend Samaya is the Messiah come again. I don't believe that to be true. At least she hasn't told me she's the Messiah come again. But just as Advent calls us to remember what has been and to believe in what will be, so too does this installation call us to remember what has been and believe in what will be. What has been is a ministry rooted in love and justice. I was speaking with Reverend Samaya the other day, and she told me of a conversation she had with one of you. And the person in question said to her that the reason they chose to call her was because she stood out in front of the church holding a Black Lives Matter sign for a year. I don't know how many people joined her, but she was willing to stand out there with a sign for a whole year. That's just one thing. But that one thing was indicative of her ministry with you. She was willing to stand outside this church with a Black Lives Matter sign for a year and invited you to join with her. That is the only one, that is only one instance of her leadership with you. There are many, many more, and over time you have joined with her in the quest for justice for all people. As for what shall be, well, that is for you to determine, beginning with that first Advent candle, hope. What do you hope your future will be? What do you hope you will be as a congregation? And what do you hope your ministry will be together? Now, there are many things you can hope for, but let me tell you, there is one thing you cannot hope for. You cannot hope that nothing will change, that everything will remain the same. You may want to hope that things are so wonderful now, that they never change. But no matter how wonderful things are right now, they cannot remain the same. All living things change. So either you try to not change and eventually wither and die, or you accept that change will happen. Here in the US, we just changed the bylaws of the UUA, the Unitarian Universalist Association, and replaced the principles and sources with a new articulation of our faith. Instead of 7 principles, we now have 7 values, and yes, there are 7 of them, along with covenantal statements to go with those values. And instead of a list of sources, we have an inclusive statement of our varied inspirations. We changed. We changed how we articulate our faith to reflect the fact that over time we have already changed. It wasn't easy. It was messy. It was hard. And as co chair of the commission that led the change, I heard from a whole bunch of people about how terrible a job we were doing and how we should not change at all. But in the end, most people, over 80%, chose to affirm that ours is a living tradition capable of change. You in Canada can choose to accept these changes or choose to make some changes of your own, but you cannot decide you will never change and expect to continue to exist. So, whatever it is you do hope, you cannot hope that everything stays the same. Not in this congregation, not in this faith. So, knowing you cannot hope to stay the same, what can you hope? Well, so many things. But I think the best thing to hope is that you will shine your light upon a world that is in need of more love and more light. That you will hope for a world of justice, a world of peace, a world of compassion. That you will hope that you will be more and more a part of solutions and not problems. That you hope you will do the work of creating justice, peace, and compassion. That you hope that even when things get messy, you will stay in the fray and never give up. That you hope this congregation is known throughout Calgary and even Alberta and all of Canada as leaders in justice making, not because your minister is, but because you are. Hope for that. Yeah. Yeah, hope for that. That's a good one. Start there. You know, the thing about hope, though, is that we only hope for that which we think is possible. For instance, I don't go to bed at night hoping I will wake up and be 5 feet 7 inches tall. If I were with you in person, you'd see that I'm short, 5 feet 2. Now, I would like to be 5'7" because then I wouldn't need step stools all over my house. But I know that I'm not going to grow 5 inches ever. So I don't hope for that. So when I tell you to hope that your light will shine so bright that you are known throughout Calgary and Alberta and even Canada for your commitment to justice, peace, compassion, and love, it is because I believe it is possible. In fact, I know it's possible. I know it is because, well, Reverend Samaya has told me so. But that's not the only reason. I know it is because you chose Reverend Samaya to be your minister. If you didn't believe you could be that shining congregation, you would not have chosen Reverend Samaya, who is that shining minister. Her light does shine throughout this city, throughout Unitarian Universalism. She is known as a justice making, justice-seeking person, and that's why you chose her. And beyond choosing Reverend Samaya as your minister, you chose Unitarian Universalism as your faith community. There are plenty other places you could have chosen, but you chose this one. And part of your choosing said justice and peace and compassion and love matter to you. We Unitarian Universalists don't hide the fact that justice and peace and compassion and love are paramount values that we hold. So when you chose, and we all choose, to be a part of a Unitarian or a Unitarian Universalist congregation, you knew that those values matter. And you freely chose to become part of this faith because I presume those values matter to you too. So I know you can shine your light. Yet hope is the beginning, but it is not the end. You may hope to be that shining congregation, but if it is only a hope that is never realized, of what good was it? What hope needs is action. And that's where things get sticky. Because how do we know what action to take and when? Each person may have ideas about what the right action is, and that's good if it's only for that person. But if you are to collectively let your light shine, then it cannot be the will of one person alone. And if you are to make real change in the world, you will have to work collectively. No one person can lead alone, not even Reverend Samaya. You must choose your actions collectively. And to work collectively, we need to start with a healthy dose of humility. Our ideas for actions may or may not be the best, but do not assume it is the best just because you thought of it. Maybe it is. But if we start with humility, we are open to other ideas and, yes, even constructive critique of our ideas. When we work collectively with humility, we can come to consensus about what it is that we will commit ourselves to doing. When we work with humility, we also know that we may not realize the results of our actions today or tomorrow, or perhaps it will take years. And perhaps we will never see the full result. Humility will also make us more patient. We did not get here overnight, and it will take us more than a day to get to where we want to be. Hope and humility, action and collectivity mixed together will create what you need to shine your light upon the world. Winter will soon be upon us, and the days of darkness in the global north are here. While outside of these walls, things are dark, within these walls, there is light. As you begin the next chapter of your history together, now is the time to let that light shine well beyond these walls. The world needs your light. May it always shine bright. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe. You are loved.
Gotta keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Thank you. Reverend Samaya, we desire to install you as our minister. We recognize that this act symbolizes a covenant together. We would have you dwell among us, preaching the truth in freedom and love. We would have you educate our children and counsel our youth. We would have you minister to us in our times of joy and sorrow. We would have you demonstrate by your example, as well as by precept, the way of a calm, courageous life, especially when you use I statements and speak to us, not about us. We would have you call attention to the failure of our lives. We would have you lead us in a mutual quest toward a greater understanding of religious life. Are you willing to take up these obligations?
Yes, indeed I am. With your help.
We, on our part, pledge ourselves to remember that the work of this church belongs to us all. As we would ask you to be charitable toward our failures, so we will also remember that you are human and can falter. We recognize that we bear a responsibility in your material welfare and spiritual development. We will use I statements and speak to you, not about you. We pledge ourselves to maintain the freedom of both pulpit and pew. We pledge to assist and cooperate with you in our common growth in a religious life. Are you willing to take up these obligations?
We are ready and willing to take upon ourselves these obligations. Therefore, we, the members of the Calgary Unitarians, do install you as our minister of this church. We offer you our encouragement and assistance in discharging your duty among us.
You all did that so beautifully. With a deep sense of responsibility and with gratitude in my heart for your confidence, I do take up my duties. May our association together promote justice, righteousness, love, and the divine in all of life among these people and with all of humanity.
Okay.
I have words.
Good. I'm so glad. Thanks, Jocelyn.
These are gifts from the congregation. Reverend Samaya, welcome to the city with many names. Mokinsis, Otusqueni, Wichipa Oyade, Goodstistis, Calgary. Blue Sky City inspires, connects, and calls for a deeper understanding of our past and our future. It is an invitation to belong, reconcile, and embrace a more equitable future. Under the blue hues of promising skies, our new story is built on fostering a better relationship with First Peoples, becoming anti-racist, taking pride in all 2S and LGBTQIA+ peoples, inspiring this place of real possibilities, Calgary, representing 3 key truths. We are a place of unexpected possibilities. We have more sunny days than any other major city in Canada. It may be minus 40, but it is sunny. We all live under the same blue skies. These are words from the City of Calgary Blue Sky City branding. Where they are quite beautiful. Soon you will own a vibrant blue stole to celebrate your ministry here at Calgary Unitarians under the blue sky. While we wait for delivery, it is a beautiful stole. We have for you a woodland floral eco shawl designed by Norval Morisseau to embody the flowers of conciliation and keep you warm on your journey. It can be worn as a stole or a shawl. Wow.
Beautiful.
That is lovely. There's also, even better, you will have a custom Calgary Unitarian volunteer-made stole. The future is looking good. There's also a video to watch from the Blue Sky Calgary website. We won't play it here, but I just think it'd be a good idea if everybody went there. It is Calgary Poet Laureate Wakefield Brewster's poem, Blue Sky City. And the podium will be custom fitted to your specifications, also in the future, thanks to our talented, creative volunteers. That's it. Thank you.
Gotta keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Good morning. I feel privileged to be able today to do the charge to the minister for my dear friend and former colleague, the Reverend Samaya Oakley, at this important service and celebration at this very unique time in our history and the history of Calgary Unitarians. I so wish I could be there in person. I do love a celebration, especially for a special person, a special minister. So here we go. I charge you, Samaya Oakley, to be kind to yourself, even when others haven't been kind to you. Remember that you deserve to be treated with the dignity that all life should be given. I charge you to do what is right for you will be criticized anyway. Thank you, Eleanor Roosevelt, for that. I charge you to remember that you are in covenant with this congregation and you are engaging in shared ministry. You are not doing this alone. Remember what Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. It works in ministry too. I charge you to keep your sense of wonder and curiosity. It is your birthright. Nurture that sense of wonder and curiosity with these good people, especially the children. Samaya, I want to encourage you to also nurture your sense of adventure, to do the travels that you have long been dreaming of. Make them come alive and real. This place and your work will still be here when you return, and you will all be the better for it. I charge you to continue to be a change agent. I saw that ability in you when you first came years ago to the North Shore Church as a young single mother. Everyone who worked and played with you, especially the youth, was changed and inspired by the fire of your commitment to social justice, equity, and inclusion. This congregation, indeed the whole world, needs change agents like you. I charge you to continue to stir the pot, wake people up from their complacency and comfort. Many times you made me uncomfortable, and that was a good thing. It didn't always feel like it, but it really was a good thing. Thank you for that. I charge you to lean on your colleagues when the going gets tough and you need a listening ear, especially from those who know what you are going through. Find the joy in the chaos. Keep shining the light that is you. Remember the words of Leonard Cohen in his famous song, Anthem. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That is how the light gets in. Samaya, I know that sometimes you worry about being too much. Don't. Yeah. I know that you keep kindness and love at the center of everything you do. And that can never be too much. Shine on.
Gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back.
What a delight to be back. Now, while today is Reverend Samaya's installation, it is only possible because of this congregation, for it is a shared ministry. Not only that, ministers come and go. The community influenced by their leadership, for sure. But a minister is, if you will, a chapter in the story of a congregation. Now, I feel truly blessed to have been part of a previous chapter, one that welcomed Samaya as an intern here. But today we celebrate your current chapter, with the intention that it is at least a 10-year chapter. I've heard it alluded that it might be more. I've heard it's 10. So the chapter title, Shine the Light, Keep It Ablaze. The light that comes to mind for me for this chapter, this shared ministry, is a campfire. For it has warmth as well as light, can be seen from afar, and beckons folks to gather round. This congregation has kept the fire burning for almost 75 years. A solid bed of coals provides the foundation. Each person's contribution, the very fuel, you are each kindling, if you will. And we also need some logs. Some logs to sustain a healthy blaze, and so I offer a few logs for your woodpile. The first is commitment. Commitment to this faith that calls us to our better selves, to live true to our core values of justice and love, and our ethic of radical inclusion. A log of curiosity is needed, an attitude that allows for possibility and imagination to be encouraged before all the reasons of why not. And the log of conflict, the one with all the knurls and burls and stuff in it, because conflict is inevitable if a relationship has any depth. Allow the learning that is possible with the intention that it be constructive rather than destructive.
communication, a log of communication. It's already been mentioned. I love how we didn't know what each other was going to say, and somehow it weaves together. Talk with and not about another, unless you're planning a surprise party for them. If you have praise, share it. Concerns, address them. Clarify and be willing sometimes to have difficult conversations, those courageous conversations. And collaboration. The recognition that we can do so much more collectively than individually. Webs of connection that invite partnerships and sharing beyond even the congregation. It is up to all of you to build a warm and welcoming fire, and know that Reverend Samaya will be there sometimes with a gentle breath to keep the embers glowing, and sometimes, as you may know, a mighty blow to set you all ablaze, and together create a bonfire of love and transformation.
Gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back.
My name is Karen Fraser Gitlitz. I'm a Unitarian Universalist community minister, formerly a neighbor of yours down the road in Saskatoon. Now, prayer doesn't happen very often in our Canadian Unitarian Universalist congregations, so some of you may be forgiven for wondering if it's in the order of service to make the ministers happy. I assure you, this moment is for all of us. The purpose of prayer is to help connect us to that which is larger than us. Atheists can pray. Spiritual but not religious can pray. You may not want to, but that's a different thing, and we're here to be bigger than that today. If prayer is a practice that is unfamiliar or uncomfortable to you, I invite you to imagine that it's cold out, and that you are cold, and I have a winter coat, which I am going to give to you. You cannot tell if it fits by looking at it. You have to try it on, and if it doesn't fit, that's fine. Let it go. Somebody else might find use in it. So when I pray, I call on the spirit of life and love. You call on whatever you would name that which is larger. Your highest values, Mother Earth, the unnameable, the divine oneness. I invite you to imagine in your mind's eye a memory of connecting to this source. Make it tactile if you can. Feel your feet on the riverbank, mud between your toes. Remember the smell of a baby recently born, or the fullness of saying goodbye to a beloved. Hold this experience in your body as you ask yourself, what has resonated in this past hour? What has challenged or informed you? What are the words that you want to carry with you as you would carry a loved one, making them a part of yourself? Let this prayer be a fixative so that we can become the people who sustain the love and the justice and the relationships that make it so. Spirit of life and love, in whom we move and have our being. We thank you for this coming together of minds and hearts. We thank you for the many hands, past and present, that made this day possible. We ask you to bless the promises spoken today, and to bless us in all our many imperfections. Hold us so that we know how to hold each other tenderly and with a fierce, bold love. Spirit of life and love, hear our prayer. Amen. Blessed be.
Our closing song this morning is hymn 1018. You can find the words in your insert. You can find the words on the screen. You can find them in the teal paperback hymnals in the seat pockets in front of you. Please rise and sing "Come and Go with Me." With me. There'll be justice in the land. 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 There'll be singing in that. Keep it going. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm
What a delight and what an honor to hear all the voices, to see all of your wonderful faces. You thought you weren't going to hear from me today, but you are. I get to say the benediction, the final word. I just want to tell you that each one of you is a spark of divine light. Whoever you are, whatever your body, whatever your theological beliefs, whatever it is that makes you uniquely you. The world needs that. Go out into that world and let your light shine, because the world needs it, particularly at this point. So be who you are and let your light shine.
As our chalice flame is extinguished this morning, may we remember that its glow can be carried within us. As we blow out the flame, I invite you to grab a spark and bring it into your heart. May it light your way, warm you, and remind you that you are held in love until we meet again. Following the recessional, please join us for a celebratory lunch in Wickenden Hall. Our choir members, along with our special guests, will be served first. Greetings to those of you who are with us online. Hello, Zoom folks. We are delighted that you have joined us this morning, and we will leave the Zoom room open after the recessional for those of you who choose to stay for conversation.
Our closing song is The Fire of Commitment, very fitting. Amazing music this morning. I didn't pick it. That's why I can say that it's amazing. The Fire of Commitment. Hymn 1028, please rise. From the light of days remembered, burns a beacon bright and clean, burning hands and hearts to spirits, into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment of our future can begin. From the stories of our living brings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
So good to see you all today. I hope the rest of your day is wonderful and spectacular and you stay warm wherever you are. Be
Thank you,
well.
Chairman.
Is that you,
Same
Cheryl?
to you. Yeah, thank you,
Yes,
Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl.
you're welcome.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. It's great to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Yeah.
Great to see everybody.
Good to see some faces I haven't seen in a while.
Really was.
You're
All
always welcome in Canada, Cheryl.